Welcome back to another Low Rancho video, and today we are fixing the 57 Chevy. Well, part of it. We're doing the wiring. So I have a painless wiring harness, and we're gonna see kind of how easy it is and do the step-by-step process and get this 1957 Chevy Wagon rewired. So wiring in the engine bay is kind of a mess, as you can see, but usually it's actually decent. Well, not really. So when we pulled this out of the trees, the rats ate all the wires in the engine bay. The dash wasn't too bad. Needed a new ignition switch, but other than that, all this wiring was gone, so I had to do like the 4 wires to make the engine run, and then a little bit with the headlight harness, and then all the other wires are from my fan and for my MSD and just other electronics I've added to the system. So the goal for today is to, well, I don't really know where I'm going to start, but we're going to just start digging into the harness from Painless and see how easy this process is. All the wiring, I'm not gonna say all the wiring, but most of the wiring did work on the car before. The only thing kind of didn't work was the dash lights, but they magically started working after, like a few months ago when I pulled this in here to do the transmission. So it is a 50s car, so like, oh, there's not that many wires and shouldn't be too bad. I'm not too worried about it. I do have the stuff torn apart right now because I was doing the transmission swap. It's like, well, it's down anyways for transmission swap. I'm waiting on some stuff. Let's do the harness. So these videos will kind of be interchanging together, but hopefully this harness doesn't take long. So I guess let's look at the kit and kind of dig in. I am opting to open this in the car because I have my heater in here, because I was looking underneath the dash. So this seems like it's nice and warm in here. So I'm gonna do it here. So with our Painless kit, we have some crimpers, very nice. Some splicers, kind of nice. I've actually thought about getting some of these. So maybe like the automatic where they splice and then kind of in any size of wire or strip, whatever. We have some tape combo pack. And then, let's see what we got here. Some Power Braid Performance Wiring Wrap Kit. So, it's all the looming. I like this looming a lot. Beats the plastic stuff all day. The stuff looks really nice, really clean, hides stuff well. Blends in, which is the biggest thing. Put that right there. Then we have the harness itself. See what's in it. It is meant for the Tri-5 Chevy chassis. So it is meant for the Tri-5 Chevy chassis harness. So made for a 57 Chevy car, wagon, all the same. Before you begin, ta-da, there's everything. We got little, almost be like an example of their Power Braid. Okay, so we got classic braid versus Power Braid. So it's whatever your preference is. I prefer the Power Braid. I like the shininess of it. We got a bunch of connectors for like OEM style. And little clips I'm assuming to clip into like the firewall and zip ties. Looks like zip ties go around them. That's really nice. So probably clips into the fender, and zip ties can go through them. We got clips, and then the inserts that go into them. We have some more clips and connectors of sorts. Fuses, butt connectors, bullet connectors, ring terminals, and looks like just female, and some screws. Here, tail. So looks like all the connectors and socket plugs and such for the tail lights. That's awesome. Here, front. So that is a lot of connectors and such, but it looks like all the connectors, sockets, grommets, everything for the front harness, which is awesome. Grommets that go through the rad support probably. So that's really nice. Clips, everything. Zip ties, yep. That's all I want right there is zip ties. Then we got some other doodads. Looks like they are courtesy lamps, is what I can tell. So on big brackets. The courtesy lamps will go underneath the dash, I imagine. We'll find out though. Little bracket. I'm gonna say that's probably to mount the fuse panel, which is not they make that for you, and then you don't have to make something up all ghetto like. Alternator. It's a lot of wiring and such for an alternator, but I guess we'll see what they want us to do there. Oh no, that one's already open. I lost one. Looks like a whole row of clips and connectors. So we'll see what those are used for. Heat shrink. What is this? Clock. Oh, that's awesome. I did want my clock to work, so that would be really nice. More heat shrink in the tube. That looks like a dash harness to me. Bunch of lights for the dash. That's cool. Big wire, probably for the alternator. Trying to read what these say on them. Right beam indicator cluster. So maybe something with the dash harness. Blower motor relay or circuit. That's pretty nice. Some sort of headlight or some sort of light sockets. We'll see what they're for when we start doing it. I do like how the wire feels. It feels like pretty good quality, not super cheapy like. Bends really nice. Doesn't feel all crunchy. Oh, that's the most important one right there. Just kidding, I don't know. Just grounds for the headlights. And then, look at this. To most people, this is very intimidating. And I am most people because this is a lot. 21 circuit. So 21 circuit panel, which is awesome. It'll be nice to have a fuse panel. As you saw at the very beginning, our fuse panel right now has screws acting as fuses, so a little bit of fire hazard, but when you don't have any material in the interior, there's nothing to burn down, right? The whole car's metal, there's nothing to burn. This thing is big. Heavy, too. So that is slightly intimidating. We'll see once we start taking it apart how intimidating it really is. Because there's not that many wires in this car. This seems like more than the car has. Dielectric grease, probably won't use that. Painless, their instruction manual for Tri 5. Oh, 27 circuit, not 21, sorry. So, step by step, table of contents, that's nice. Schematics, it's really nice that it shows you where the schematics are at, so you don't have to flip through. Oh my lord, what did I get into? This book is 135 pages long of pure wiring for a Tri-5 Chevy. I might have bitten off more than I can chew, we'll see. And if I can get it out, the most important thing, the stickers. Sticker front and center on that window. So, obviously I don't really know where to start, so I guess let's look at the manual and see where they want us to start at. So, manual, usually they just tell you the steps, so. Introduction. Thank you for purchasing harness. This is a customized harness, therefore we suggest you retain your original harness for any unique plugs or connectors while installing your new harness. The fuse block is pre-terminated. I do like this. They show you which ones are battery constant power and which ones are ignition switch powered within the fuse panel. It's kind of neat. I don't think I've done that much reading in a while. I don't think I've done that much reading in a while. I think what I got from that is that I just need to remove the entire original harness first, and then we will go from there. So I do have the goal, before I do the wiring under the dash, I'm going to paint up in there, or like wire wheel, everything, paint it. So I'm gonna remove every component I can from the dash besides the steering wheel, and just clean it up under there. The rats have been under there, so that's to be expected on this car because everything was touched by the rats, it seems like. So let's do that. We'll remove everything under there and then start removing the harness parts from under there and cleaning up and components as we take them out, because a lot of them are probably pretty rusty and might need a little maintenance. So got my lighting, I guess let's start tearing stuff apart. And most essential is my heater, because it is very cold in here. But if I keep the doors closed, I think I can turn this into an incubator in here. so I didn't really film it, but I got the dash out. I don't think I did it right because it was very hard. Probably should have watched the video on it first. And I have a feeling you're supposed to take this off, but I did not. And anyways, we got it out without breaking anything. So I've been kind of labeling some of the wires as I take them apart. It's pretty nasty up in here, but very complete. Everything's here, so it's not too bad. Labeling, taking pictures as I go, and these connectors do not like to come out, but the kit comes with new ones, but just make sure you cut up here, not down there, if you're gonna just cut the wires like I'm going to. So I got most of the wiring out. It's not much to show, I'm just taking wiring out. And then I was taking the turn signal harness out here. Or whatever. I was trying to take this harness for the rear out, and I was trying to get this kick panel off. It's like, Jesus, you have to like bend this out to get it out. I don't know if that's factor or not, but I was looking at this like, this is really like flimsy. It's homemade. Sometime back in the day when they were building this car, they decided they wanted some metal kick panels. So I don't know what style of kick panels they're supposed to have, but I might look into it, because these are very hard to get out, and you have to bend this tab out to get these out because they're so pried in there. All right, so I got everything ripped out wire wise. Got the clock out, all this under here. So I think the next step is gonna be to rip out all this old insulation. It's really moldy and just broken and gross. So I'm gonna rip all that out, and I'll wire wheel everything and paint that. I might take the heater box out as well. And then I just want to clean the whole underside of the car and paint everything out of there. So that's my goal for that. So I just pulled the heater, like the heater core goes here. That's in the engine bay. And then this is all the ducting. And that's your defrost. And that's just held on with 2 screws. It's pretty simple. And these are just held on with a bunch of little Phillips head screws. You can get to them from in here. And this cable goes in there. And I think it's some type of like sensor, like your heater hose runs to it from in the engine bay. I don't know, it's past my knowledge, but glad I took this out, because rat poop, all that just came out of here. It was all sitting on top here in between the defrost and the normal vents. It's lovely. It's kind of cool. Got all the vents down there. Well, it looks like it would heat pretty well, so kind of cool. I need to take these out of the car, clean the car off real quick. And I'm gonna wire wheel these pretty good and probably get them painted today. So we're gonna paint these, but it's too cold outside. So wait on those. So I gotta wait on that until I can get some diesel for that and get the heater going in here. So I guess I will do the task of pulling all this cruddy, nasty insulation out of here.
and I cannot wait. I am overly thrilled, as you can tell. So it's gonna be nice and messy, and it'll be quite the cleanup afterwards. Let's get started on that, I guess. So I got it all cleaned out enough up under here. Looks pretty good, actually. Not much under here when there's no wiring and stuff. So I'm gonna call it there and say it's time to paint this. Seal the smell in, that's the main goal here. So let's get to it. Alright, so the paint fogging is done. It's a lot better in there. Obviously it's not perfect. It's a lot harder to paint under the dash than I thought. Probably get in that vent a little bit more. But tried to get as much as I could. Not everywhere. Everywhere in here. Obviously can't get up on that ledge, but I got on this whole bottom ledge. Tried to get up in the speakers. I successfully got through the vents because it's on the window. Oh well, seems enough, but looks a lot better. A lot more uniform under here. Hopefully prevent some smell too. Let's get through the other parts painted, at least. I think it looks pretty good. Not very enjoyable to paint. To paint in a can underneath the dash though, that's for sure. I'm gonna let that dry, and it might be dry by, I don't know. It's cold out, so it'll probably take a while to dry. So then I guess the next step is start putting the wiring harness in and see how, start routing it to where it needs to go.
dance time's over. Got the dash painted underneath. It's probably not dry because it's freezing out, but we're gonna say it's close enough. So it's time to dig into this big boy here and see where to start. I think I know, but we will see here. First step here is to mount the fuse box panel. Or the fuse box panel mount. Bada bing. And it says it must be mounted inside the vehicle. So, man, I was gonna mount it on my fender, but I guess whatever. So it gives you a bunch of instructions on how to cut the insulation on the firewall, but I opted of the removal strategy, where I just got rid of all that and we don't have to worry about it anymore.
All right, 10 years later, it's installed.
All right, now that that's installed, I guess it's time to put the fuse panel in, and all the wires come with it. So you got to find the screws for that, and then we'll throw that in and start routing stuff, I guess. Brother, it's a lot of wires.
But front light harness, gotta feed it through here. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. I'll put a grommet in there. We're calling that good right there. That's our front harness done. What a mess.
All right, so here's all the wires that go up to the front, lights, and then headlights as well, and then probably some other stuff I'm missing, and then there'll be another harness that comes through up here that'll go to engine components and starter, I believe. So, all right, so we're kind of taking a step back here. I pulled the harness back out, and it's like, oh, I'll do this when it's in the car, and then I was looking up my car, I'm like, this is gonna be really hard to do when it's in there. So just gotta do it. We'll take it out. I kind of know where stuff goes now, so I have a better idea what I'm looking at. So I guess now we'll cut the zip ties off, put electrical tape around them, and then we'll start routing the loom. And we won't cut it to length yet until I know for sure lengthwise on some of the wires, but most of them I can get done right away. Okay, so I think I got all my connectors on here that are important. So we're gonna put this back in the car and we'll go from there and start routing stuff and seeing where stuff lays.
Okay, so I got the harness back in. Not much to it, so I got the headlight harness, got the front harness routed through there, and then I don't know why, but they put the dimmer switch harness on that side of the grommet. I don't know if 55 and 56 are different. So anyways, I cut the zip ties and stuff and routed it on this side. So That is this harness right here, runs down to the dimmer switch. Gotta have those special screws for that to get that off. So, which is, I don't quite understand, but anyways. So then I got this right here, which is the light switch, which is right here. This is for the ignition switch. And then under here, we have this big harness, which is like all accessories, so like windows. This is 5 wires for aftermarket radio. All right, while I procrastinate under the dash, I'm gonna put on the front radio support, and then I'll probably end up just doing the front wiring. I just gotta start somewhere, and then I think I'll be on a roll, but it's hard to get motivation to start this because it's a lot of wires to run. So we'll put the radio support on, and then start routing the engine bay wires and the headlight wires. So I'm routing these light wires on the driver's side. So these go up through here, and then you got your turn signals and parking lights. If it would focus, that'd be really cool. Turn signals and parking lights, wires, and that weird looking grommet I don't enjoy the look of. And then we got high and low beam for the headlights that go through here. And then I'm making the alternator wire, because that's the only other wire that's on this side. So get that made up, and then we'll route it along for the passenger harness. All right, so I got the alternator routed pretty well. Got that heat shrunk on there. I think it's having a bad time focusing. And ran into this harness, and then I'll clean it up a little bit more once these get into looms and stuff. So I think what I'm gonna work on now is the headlight harness, the highs and lows. So up in here, so I'm gonna take out the outer of the headlights and go from there. All right, so I got the headlights out. So this one's got a little wasp nest, of course. I clean these out a little bit. They're pretty gross. You see the original pink paint right there, which is kind of cool. The passenger side actually had a T3 headlight, which is pretty cool. It's an old style headlight. This part was broken, but I have extra ones. So that's whatever. I do have brand new headlights coming. Those ones on there. The T3 was actually pretty bright, but the other one was like a General Electric. It was awful. So I just got new headlights because they're going to be better than whatever I had on there anyways. So I guess let's look over the instructions, but I'm assuming we push that grommet out, and then we'll run the new wires in and put the connectors on. All right, so worked on this for a little bit. I found a grommet that fits in here, kind of. All the grommets they sent do not fit in that hole, so I found one that sits close. It's still gonna let stuff in. It's whatever, I guess. Ground wire might be a little long. It's all right. I don't like this connector. The like the plugs that they send with it don't want to stay in the connector, so don't know what that's about. But anyways, got that in. And that's just routed with the factory wiring. Just like that. See that grommet does not fit. Whatever. There's plenty of clips for it. And then in here, we got stuff teeing off. So we got this up here. And this is, there's a lot of wires in here. And then I also incorporated this wire, the charging wire in there as well. This is just a GM1 wire. So I did forget to put the rubber piece on here, but I don't really care, to be honest. I think it looks fine how it is. Okay, so this is the front harness. It's got 3 prongs, and this goes for the blinkers on the grill. So then they send you this little connector. You put the wires into it, so you can see here. Gonna put the wires into it, and then that'll make it work, I guess. So okay, so this is the front blinker harness for that, the bar for the front of the car. I got it all loomed up, and then they recommend running it inside of here, which might be how it's done factory. So took it off, and my grill is busted up big time. These are really fragile, so it's pretty busted up, but it's a ratty car, so I don't really care. It looks good from a distance. But anyways, so I'll run this inside of here, I guess, and then we'll see how it looks. This is how Painless wants you to run it. Right above these bolts. And you just tuck it in there. But that's how they want you to run that all along it. Some of my bolts are broken off, so it makes it a little hard, but yeah, it looks pretty good. All right, that light is back on. We put some large washers here because the grill has separated, so it pulled it back together. It's a little more sturdy. We put some bolts down here to hold that. I didn't have anything there before. And there was brackets that were up here, but I just cut them off because they were all bent and bad too. So, you know, she got a little bit of play, but it's not too bad. Nothing I didn't have before. So got all those on. And then you can see the harness routed in there. That's actually a really good spot for it. And it tucks it up in there, and it can't move. So, and I think these just clip on somehow. I'm not quite sure how these sockets work. All right, so it's been like a week or so since I've worked on the wiring on the wagon. She got school, you know, fun. Also, I put some installation, like sound deadening down in here under the dash. Look at that, looks like carpet. But it's really sticky, and it's not super thick, but I think it'll help with noise and wind blowing through the firewall and such. So anyways, I just finished up this headlight, got it loomed and everything, and so I'm gonna stop on the front harness until I know everything I need and stuff like that, until I get some stuff back in. So now I'm gonna work on the rear harness here. So I got it ran. Those are the dome light wires. But I got this ran up top here. It's supposed to go down along there, but I already have the wood and everything in there, so I'm just gonna run it up top, and I'm gonna put a carpet over that. So, all right, so we're under the car. See what we're working with. Yep, rat nest. That's where the harness comes through on the back. There's not much wiring really back here. I had to redo all these wires, that's why they're a mess. Because there was a rat nest right up here and they ate all these wires, so. Look at the rust inside of the light socket. That's crazy. Alright, I'm gonna try to talk over my heater, but so we're on the tail lights and we got all these extra wires. This goes to an amp, which is kind of cool. You can power up an amp. And then these go to the fuel sensor and the reverse light. So these are 2 wires you need, black and pink, for the driver's side tail light. And what you're gonna do, so you put these little gold pin connectors on here that come with the tail harness, and then you're gonna put those into this little guy, and pink on top and black on the bottom. So that's how it'll look. Make sure to put your grommet on first. Then we're gonna put it up in there, the socket, and then grommet will go over top of the socket up there. So that's how it'll look when it's done. So then I'll route I won't be using the amp, so I'll block that off. And I will be using the fuel sensor. And I also do not have reverse lights because I don't know why, but I don't, so. All right, for the tag lights for the 57, it says to use these little sockets. So these are the factory sockets, and these are supposed to clip in here, just like that, and that's your tag light. Well, it doesn't clip in there. It's smaller than the factory one, because I'm assuming, I don't know, to be honest. They send you 2, so I'm assuming it's for the, I'm assuming this is for the car version. So anyways, the ones they send you don't work for the wagons, but the reverse light bulbs I think will work, because these clip in here and then you just put your bulb in there. And so this socket is for the reverse light, and I don't have reverse lights on my car. They usually be right there. I don't have them, so I think this will hold in there good enough that I can use these, and then it's just a matter if they'll fit in the bumper. Because I just put a little 67 bulb in there and it fits pretty good. Okay, to get this to fit in there, you also need to grind down the circle, like this part around here, because it does not fit into the socket. So yeah, this does not fit into there if you do not grind this down. So you gotta grind the circle down, and then it should just fit right in like it's supposed to. You just gotta get a perfect angle and it goes right in. All right, I haven't been filming much just because it's a pain in the ass to get up and down so many times underneath here. Oh, we got the main harness coming in there. This is driver's side. And then we got this wire, which leads over to here. And that goes to the fuel tank. So they got it tucked up in there, kind of nice. All these other things you see around are the air lines for the air shocks, so I need to put those in a better spot too. We got the tail lamps hooked up, or the tag lights hooked up together here. God. And I put the wire above these. It seems like a pretty good spot way up there, kind of hidden. And then you got that for the tail light, and this breaks over here, and then breaks under there, and goes to the fuel pump actually. So that's kind of nice. It comes with the fuel pump wire from the key, which would be a lot better than my little switch I had before. So that wraps up the back side. I'll do I think I'll run the dome light real quick, because it's the same harness, the tail light harness. I'll run that, kind of see what I need to do there, and then I don't know, I'll kind of look at it and see what I want to do next. All right, so I haven't been very good about filming, I won't lie, but it's kind of just follow the instructions in the book and do it on here. So not much to it, but it's also freezing out here most of the time, and I'm not out here for very long, so kind of just trying to get done what I can. So I guess I'll update you guys, see what we have got done in the past few days. All right, so we got our new dimmer switch in. Looking good. I'm just gonna leave it unhooked. I'm gonna leave everything like unhooked until, you know, I test everything, make sure everything works. I did have to drill that out. It was stuck. There was a rat nest behind there, of course, you know. Got, I think, yeah, I got the ignition switch hooked up right there, pretty easy. I got the light switch, and then I also got the ignition switch hooked up. Got the cigarette lighter hooked up. I mounted the tack right here because I'm gonna put a spotlight through here, I think.
And this will also be easier for my gauge wires because they're all right there, because that's where my external gauges are going to be. These are all extra wires for the ignition system, or they're all like accessory wires. And then the ones dangling right there that aren't wrapped are for the radio, which I will be having. And then up in here, we got our courtesy light. We got our clock. And I also have the fan hooked up. So I believe the under dash is done, and I also got the gauge cluster done. Just super easy because they send you like a harness already made for it, like where the wire is gonna go, and they just zip tie them kind of how you want them. The only thing I did different is I grounded it here instead of here because I don't have one of these special Chevy screwdrivers. So should be all right. If it's not all right, then I'll have to get something to change it, but I'm not too worried about it. Kind of sucks is the plastics in there are broken on both sides. I also got my dome light in. I don't think I filmed that either. That was super easy. So as far as I'm aware, I think the inside of the cab is done. That's my goal at least. And then the inside's done, the tail section's done. So now, and the front section's done. All I have left is the engine bay. I've been kind of avoiding it. There's not a ton of wires, but I was like, there's a lot of wires that run into it later and stuff. So I want to get every other component done, and then that kind of be the last thing. So that is where we are at. And I guess that's where we're going to start today. Well, I kind of just been doing some working and not filming much time lapse and such, but I've got it kind of just wired up so I can test some stuff. Look at this, some headlights work. The blinker bars aren't working because there's no light bulbs I can get to stay in there, but headlights work. Come on the inside, see our dash lights are on. It's kind of cool. Look over here, the clock light's on. I don't think it's on itself, which kind of sucks, but. And then our dimmer switch down here works perfect. The dome light and stuff works, but the switches are bad. So I have to like press down on the, if I press down on it, it makes contact, turns the courtesy lights on, turns the dome light on, which is kind of cool. It's cool to have stuff like that. Then for the tail lights, look at that, we have tag lights, which we did not have before. This one's really bright like it's supposed to be. This one's not. I flipped the connectors in that one, so I'll have to flip those around, and that one should be good. But it's pretty exciting to see everything kind of like work like it's supposed to. The fuel pump does work too. It is spilled on my floor because it's not hooked up to it. So I kind of just got temporary power. I got this fuse box in here, or this, yeah, it is a fuse box, I guess. And I've been trying to get all this wiring looking nice, which is harder than it looks. I also don't know if this is gonna work because this is really close to that, which sucks, but I'll see what I can do there. And then I got the fan relay tucked down in there looking nice. I gotta hook it up all the way too, but I got a lot of work to do. It's just kind of cool to see headlights on again. It looked kind of depressing because they're not in, but it's cool to see that. The dome light work. I've never had a dome light before. So it was a test run and pretty happy it's coming along. So I got the engine bay kind of tidied up here. I need to get a coil because I stole it for the other car. I need to get a starter. So I can't hook that up, see if that works. I got all these hooked up, and trying to make this look good in here is kind of hard. I got the fan relay hidden down in there. So I got to hook the fan up and stuff, which I'll probably do tonight. But it's coming along. I think the engine bay is pretty much done at this point, besides the stuff I got to get for it. And hook up the fan, obviously. Tuck that up in there. But just little stuff and diagnosing at this point, which is pretty exciting. I got to hook up all my accessory gauges. I was waiting on something. Oh, I was waiting on my glove box to mount the radio, so that should be here in the next day or so. So I guess we will hook the fan up and probably be good until we get that glove box. Well, in the spirit of spending too much money on this car that doesn't really need it, I got a new glove box. It's kind of nice. It's got like a soft material on the inside. It's white, which probably won't last very long in this car, but it comes with so it shows you like little holes. So there's the instructions, but so these holes are already in it, and then you just have to cut these little holes around it, and that's what these clips are going to go into. So it says to insert them from the back side. So you just put them on in there, just like that. And then it says to bend the tabs outwards, so this way and that way for structure. So there's 5 of them total. All right, got all those bent, kind of how they're supposed to be. Kind of looks like crap. Probably be hidden. Just gotta find some screws and throw it in. All right, so now that I got that installed, I'm going to install this nice little Amazon radio in there. It's a Jensen. It'll be perfect. Kind of just right there, so I can close my door still. So kind of up in there. It's Bluetooth and all that fancy stuff. And there's a hole at the back there I'll run the wires all out of and run the antenna into. So should work out pretty good. All right, got that the radio in there. I like it. That closes, looks pretty good. I mounted our gauges too. If you can tell, they're there now. Open that up. There it is. So that'll be nice. Got a charging cord and all the fancy stuff on it, so that'll be nice to have in the car. All right, we're back doing the wiring. Got some parts in that I needed to kind of finish some things up. So let's take a look. So I got some front parking lights. So they'll go right there. I went with orange. I've always liked the look of the orange ones. So that's what that'll look like. I think that looks pretty cool. I like the orange over the white, so that's what I went with. Then I got some new taillight housings because the ones I have are all cracked up and have epoxy and stuff, so nice. Come with gaskets and everything. Then I got these expensive little things. These are just the door switches for the courtesy lights and such. like 20 bucks a pop for these little guys, but whatever. Got a new coil because I stole a coil off this to put it on there to get that running. So that is what it is. We got a new mini starter, which hopefully works for what I need. Figure that out. I did get these too. They're for the kick panels for the speakers because I'm putting 6.5-inch speakers in there. These are way bigger than I thought they were going to be. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use them or not. Or I don't know. I'm still waiting on the speakers themselves. But I'm not super happy with these. They're massive and they're going to look kind of dumb. So we'll see on that. And then I got some just Alpine speakers. I only needed one because for the dash. But they come like only selling 2. So that is what it is there. That'll be, I think that'll work pretty good. 280 watt, not anything crazy, which nothing is going to be very crazy on this. So this switch is a little different than the old ones. So we got our new dimmer switch. There's our old one. They're slightly different, but I'm assuming it just slides in there and that's how it works. I guess we'll see. All right, those new ones are way tighter than the old ones, so I don't think that's going to come out, but just let the smoke out all the wires. Holy shit, that scared me. This wiper cable grounded itself on the ignition switch. Burnt up. Look at that. That's no good. Could have been pretty bad. All right, so I had an issue with one of these being brighter than the other one. So I got the bulb was just flipped around somehow, which I don't know how because it only go in one way, but whatever. I got that fixed. And then on the tail light, I also had an issue with one being brighter than the other one, and with this, the connector, I had the wires flipped over, so flipped them. Now they're the same. So now I can put my new lenses on those, and then I think I'll put the headlights in their sockets as well. Yeah, that looks good. Here's a little before and after. You can either get orange or yellow of these. I have white bulbs in there, so I figured why not get yellow or orange. And I like how the orange looks on the front of these, so I think they look pretty cool. And oh yeah, I like that. That looks pretty cool. So let's put the tail lights on. Here's kind of an idea what was on there versus the new ones. Pretty big difference there. That looks nice. Oh, those look so much better. That looks nice. That looks so much better than the old one. Oh yeah, that looks killer. Taillight's a lot brighter with those lenses on. All right, I think I will tackle the headlight bezels now, or the headlights in general. I got new headlight bulbs for it, so they'll be the same. This should be pretty quick. These are new headlights. They came in different boxes, but they are the same, so that'll work. They look pretty bright, which is what I'm going for. They're just Sylvania, normal, whatever, halogens. That was way harder than it should have been, but I got it in, so. All right, so this is a starter I got. It's a Jegs Pro Start. So anyways, it's meant for manual and automatic. You just choose which hole you use there. And so it's pretty straightforward. The instructions just tell you how to shim it and measure it and stuff, so it's pretty nice. Comes with mounting hardware as well and shims, which is awesome. I don't think I ever had a starter that came with the bolts. It looks kind of goofy because, I don't know, just how the old one was mounted and this. There's a bunch of weird gaps and stuff, but looks like it might work. I don't know. All right, so I got the starter installed. You can kind of see it right there. I got it wired up. Hook up our battery. Key on. Boom. It works. We're back. Finally got my speakers in to finish up this wiring process. So these are what I got. I got some Scar 6.5-inch speakers, and then some sound deadening and some speaker wire. And I think I showed it already, but I also have this box, this speaker, which is gonna go in the dash. All right, so I got my gauges hooked up here, and then they run up in this harness, which you need to organize. And then run up there into that dash plug. That's my cigarette lighter. But I got a little bit of mess here now because my tack is also right here. So I got all those wires right there. It looks like it works. I just gotta run the vehicle and see, you know. An issue I was having is every time I would hook these gauges up, my fuse kept blowing. I was like, well, it shouldn't be pulling more than 10 amps. It's just the lights and then one gauge is the only one doing anything. My water gauge and my my volt gauge. So I unhooked one at a time, and my volt gauge was blowing my fuse, so it must be shorted out internally somewhere. So I just won't have a volt gauge. It's whatever, or an amp gauge. So now I'm gonna work on wiring up the radio. We have our radio wires right there for the harness. And we have this for the radio itself. And going through the instructions on the radio itself, the wires are actually all the same color for the harness and the ones that come with the radio. So that makes it really easy. So you got yellow for memory, red for 12 volt, black for ground, gray is for backlighting, but we don't need that because it just needs power. And then blue is for amp hookup, which is a wire that's at the very back of the car. So we're not gonna be using that either. And then we will figure out the speaker wiring after that, but that's just all of these guys. So pretty easy there. Turn that down. Mounted, sounds pretty good actually. It's pretty loud. I need it to be louder, so I got other speakers for that, but I'm pretty excited about this. Close that up, and look, never existed. And then you got all your cool lights elsewhere. Radio off. Goodbye. Shuts right off. It's pretty nice. What I do is find how I'm gonna mount the other speakers, the 6.5-inch ones. And then the radio is gonna be done. Interior is pretty much done at that point. Interior is done at that point. Besides like putting the stuff back into the dash. And then figure out something to block that off. But that's exciting. I've never had a like classic with like a nice, okay. Whoa. I've never had a classic with like a nice radio like this. So this is pretty cool. Be able to listen to whatever I want. That's cherry right there. Hopefully, my biggest thing is hopefully it's loud enough that I can hear it when I'm driving. I'm not getting my hopes up too much on that, but it'd be pretty cool if it was. And if it isn't, I might have to quiet the exhaust down a little bit, but what's fun in that? All right, so this is the driver's side kick panel. It's a fuse box, mounts where it does underneath there. I got to cut this out to allow the kick panel to go in. So I measured it out, it's like 5 by 4. I'll just cut this little corner out. These are not factory anyways. It would have plastic kick panel, but somebody made these and I'll keep using them. Okay, so I did this off camera because it's kind of, I was out in the ocean, it's cold. But we made these blocks and they're spacers for the speakers. There we go. It's gonna be tight to get the wires in there, but anyways. So this should fit up. I might have to trim the bolts, but I'm gonna get this painted real quick. I got the speakers mounted in there. I hope this one fits. It might not because the parking brake cable's there, but I might just take it off because I don't have a parking brake anyways. So anyways, I'm gonna scuff these up real quick and then we're gonna shoot them in black and they'll be all good. All right, so I got my speakers in, I got them painted, and they look pretty good. They look a little ghetto, but like, shut the light off. Oh, now it just looks like a normal box. Can't even tell. Now it's wood. So anyways, got them wired up. Got the radio back in. See the other side. The other side's pretty tight. I'd take the cable off, or the parking brake cable to put this on, but it holds it on there, so. These little covers are just held on by rubber. They're like a silicone stuff. It seems really weird to me, but whatever. That's pretty tight over there, but it all works. This is not working, so I have to take that back off, which might be fun now, but I think I can still get to that screw. Everything's working though, like it should. The audio works. Here, I'll just do this. So you can hear some static. Ooh. There's some static. I don't want to get copyrighted, so got that speaker. So 1, 2, and then 3. That one up there is really loud. I hear that one the most. It is bigger, so it makes sense, but pretty cool. Put some extra sound deadening down here in between my seat. Maybe it'll help with something. I don't know. I think I'm going to call this good. We'll do a little walk around of the video of the car. Show all the lights on. It cranks. Does what it's supposed to do there. Tail lights work, brake lights, headlights, blinkers. One works on the back. So I think it's in my column. So that I'll have to replace that. Dome light, courtesy lights, all my gauges, tack, my accessory gauges as well. Everything works like it should. The harness was fairly easy. I mean, it's all there and it goes right where it's supposed to. The wires are long, but that's perfect. So you can put them where you want. And the instructions they're all right. I mean, they could be a little better. I think more pictures, but that's just because I'm dumb and I don't like to read. But you'll figure it out. So it's not too bad. It's a harness, so it's kind of a lot of backtracking, if that makes sense. If you're going to do it, just read the whole thing, I'd say, first. And then take notes on it. Feel like you're in school again, but yeah, just take notes on it and you should be fine. That's what I had to do. So there's a lot of little things that, you're doing one section, then it tells you a little bit later, oh, don't do this, and stuff like that. So, but it's not a big deal. So, we got radio working, fan works, accessory gauges work. Yeah, I figured out my one gauge was blowing all the fuses, but it's whatever. Full on. Let me shut the lights off. So, headlights are on. They're bright. The new bulbs are nice. Shit, kicking stuff now. That's my flashlight. I had the courtesy lights off since I was working in here. Courtesy lights. Let's shut those off. Okay, I got the courtesy lights off. See our gauge lights working. Tack's working. Accessory gauges are working. Clock's working. I didn't know that you could turn on the courtesy lights with this. Turn it all the way to the left. And a little bit of. That's cool. I like that a lot.
Shuts all the other gauges off, but I didn't know that. And come around to the back, we got tail lights, tag lights, and the brake lights work too, so. Brake lights. And then the starter works like it should. So that's gonna be all for this video. I'm gonna put everything back together. You've seen me do it 1,000 times, so that's just put the dash back together, seats, stuff like that. So I just gotta, put things back together. And then once the vehicle is running again, which I just gotta put carb on and then figure out my clutch and stuff, which will be another video. We will see if everything works like it should, engine-wise. So charging, fan, MSD, all that good stuff. I don't know how entertaining this video was. I mean, it's wiring, can't be that entertaining, but I hope you enjoyed. I'm really happy I did this. The painless harness was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. It's nice to have good wiring again because the wiring in this car was really bad and nothing worked, and I had fuses that were bolts. So glad I don't have that anymore. Glad I have a real fuse panel that works because I blew that fuse like 10 times already. But hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment what you think. Comment what I did wrong. Probably a lot, but it's whatever. I enjoyed this a lot, actually. I've never had a car with working speakers, like a Bluetooth radio, so I'm really excited about the radio out of everything. It's probably what I'm most excited about, but hey, whatever works, It motivated me to do the whole thing, so hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.